Hello, today I'll be discussing how you can manage to live abroad in Italy and what you can expect once you're there. After all, there are several major cultural differences between their country and our own that you should be aware of. There's an old saying that goes, "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." This is so very true because you don't want to be a standout when you're over there. The faster you allow yourself to adapt to their way of life, the better off you'll be and the better off your experiences of Italy will be. Now I'd like to take a moment and discuss a little bit about Italian driving and transportation options. Obviously, the best way to get around Italy and to see the most of it is to have a car. However, driving around Italy is much more different than driving around in the States. Italians tend to drive very fast, and it's not uncommon to see Italians driving at speeds well over 100 miles per hour on average. It is very important to keep up with the flow of traffic over there. More accidents are caused by the slower drivers in Italy than the faster ones, and if you're the cause of an accident because you were going too slow, you will end up being the one liable for any damage done to the car or the person that was going faster than you. Also, stop signs and traffic signals are often overlooked and people often run them. It's very important that you're always aware of your surroundings when driving any vehicles in Italy. If you end up deciding that you're too afraid to drive in Italy, there are other options available. They do have an excellent railway system established for both inter-city commuting or cross-country commuting. The prices of tickets are usually affordable and the trains themselves are very comfortable to ride on. There's just not a lot of storage space if you have a lot to carry. There are taxi services around, but I honestly don't recommend any of them. They usually cost a lot of money and you're more likely of being ripped off by one. If you're going to stay in Italy, my suggestion is to stay at hotels that have at least 4 stars shown on the building. You will have to pay more, but it's worth it. I've stayed in several hotels that had less than 4 stars on them, but I ended up having to share a single bathroom with everyone on the same floor as me, and that's never fun. Also, the nicer hotels are going to have the better scenery and closer access to tourist facilities and shopping centers. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about Italian dining. The food in Italy is outstanding. I admit I was very nervous about eating some of the stuff I saw like raw eel and octopus, but I figured, why not? I mean, honestly, how can several million Italians be wrong? Everything I ate in the 3 years I lived there was very, very good, but if you're still timid about what you sink your teeth into, maybe you should just stick with chicken. Just make sure you ask for pollo, which is Italian for chicken. Most restaurants have a description written in English under each menu item so you know exactly what you're getting. They never serve combos, so you'll have to order everything separate. Everything comes on its own plate. The tables at restaurants tend to be very large since Italians usually eat dinner together in one large family. They'll usually start dinner at around 8 p.m. and dinner will last until around 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Italians are all about family and they really love children. Most married spouses are really much in love with one another, but Italians run their marriages more like a business. They want offspring and they want to save money, so they marry, have children, and then leave it at that. It's not uncommon for a married Italian male to have several mistresses that even his own spouse knows about. The reason for this is because Italian marriages are very hard to break off and divorce is highly frowned upon by the Catholic Church. If a divorce does happen, neither of the previously married are allowed to remarry again to anyone else for a minimum of 5 to 10 years. A large amount of Italian women are just as guilty for sleeping around on their husbands as their husbands are on them. Most Italian women stay at home during the days, and oftentimes they go out and find male prostitutes on the side of the roads. Many of these male prostitutes are Albanian or African immigrants who stand on the side of the roads desperate for work. So as I've mentioned, there are several major cultural differences between Italy and our own, but I'm sure that with a little bit of acceptance, you will learn to be able to fit right in and enjoy your time there a little bit more. Thank you.